Hi guys, I wasn't going to take this, I was just going to show you the project when I got done, or film this. It's not really tape because there's no tape, right? Alright, I went to Hobby Lobby yesterday and these placemats, because this stuff, the spring shop is 50% off, and I really like this placemat, but I want to turn it into a bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my seam ripper. This is a seam ripper here, and I'm going to take the double stitching out all the way around so that I end up with two pieces of fabric. Okay, one is going to be a little tote bag, and the other layer I'm going to make a small little, like a makeup bag, but I don't wear makeup, so it will be used for other things. But I also bought some dark purple cotton for the lining, because I'm going to line the bag. So I just thought I would come on and show you this. To get started, I'll take this off real quick. Just pop that plastic thing. Alright, to get started, what you're going to do is, you can start anywhere. You just want to put your seam ripper under the thread and just pop it loose, and do it on both rows of it. And you'll want to do that in like 3 or 4 stitches. And as you go and you're picking these out, it'll loosen it up so you can get your finger in there. And then once you got it like this, you can kind of pull it, and when it stops pulling apart, just go inside and just, you can see the threads. You just get your seam ripper underneath them and you just pop them loose. And that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll be back. Okay, I got the two pieces apart, and when you get done, you're going to have threads that you have to clean up and throw in the trash. They're just the little pieces. You just go around and you clean those all up. I'm only going to do it on one piece. We're going to set this other one aside. You just don't want your project to end up with having a bunch of little pieces of thread hanging from when it was a placemat, that's all. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to worry about ironing it flat. I'm going to leave it just like this with the folds from the placemat on it. And I'm going to use this as a pattern to cut the lining piece off that other, the purple, so that I have two rectangles the same size. And see, this is raveling. That's one reason I don't want to try to iron it out. And it's a nice perfect rectangle, just like this. Now you can do this with the maybe a slightly cheaper placemat, and then just cut your lining to match the placemat if the placemat doesn't have a backing. I just didn't want to sew through all of those layers. Okay. Oh, there's a few more there. And you can pick up placemats at thrift stores and this different things. And I wanted to get some dark purple belting for my handle up here, but nobody seems to carry it anymore. So what I'm going to do is, some of that other placemat is going to become my purse handle. And so I'm going to go ahead and cut my rectangle of the dark purple out off screen, and then I'll got to dig out a rotary cutter, I think. Trying to think how I can cut the handles and have them even. I'll think on that. I'll probably just eyeball it, and I'm thinking I bought just enough. I did, but I only need one thickness of this. And see, what I'll do is I'll just line it up so that it's the same length, and then just cut a piece off, and that's going to be my lining. I might trim this other edge off so it's perfectly even, and I'll make the handles up and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm back, and I've created some 3.5 inch strips off from the other placemat, which didn't leave me much here to make a little tote to go inside, but I think there's still enough left that I can make a little bag to go inside to hold like change, credit cards, things like that. So what I've done is I'm folded this in half, and then I'm just going to sew it about 1/4 inch all the way down here, and I'll turn them right side out and push it flat, and then make sure the seam that I've created when I push this flat after it's right side out is in the center of the underneath of the handle, and then I'll just top stitch along both edges. Then let me move you over here real quick. Let's see what you're seeing. Gotta move my chair. All right, now this is the placemat and the purple fabric, and I've just pinned them together, just a couple pins on each side. And then this is a 2-inch square, and I'm going to cut a 2-inch square through all the layers there and on this side, and this will make a boxed bottom for the bottom of the bag, so it'll kind of stand up on its own. And the fortunate thing about the placemat is they had already applied interfacing to both pieces, and this placemat is kind of a canvas weight, so between that and this interfacing, I don't feel I need to add interfacing to the lining piece for the bag. So I'm going to cut these out and decide what's the next step. I think what we'll do once we get these cut out, the handles sewn together, turned right side out, and top stitched, then I'll apply the handles to the outside of the bag, inside the layers, and then we'll sew the side from the top up on both sides, and then, well, let me think on that. I'll be back. Okay, I've cut the squares out of the corner, and my brain finally clicked into action. So what you're going to do is unpin what you got here, and we're going to get my hands to cooperate here. Take the layers apart, because you want to sew right sides together on that and right sides together on this. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew, the bottom is already together, so I'm going to have to leave my opening at the top of the bag. And what I'll do is I'll sew the sides, which I've got to still dig this machine out, so that's why I haven't done that yet. So I'll just pin these. And like I said, I just left the edges pinned. And I'll just do, normally a seam is 5/8 of an inch, but on this bag I'm only going to do 1/4 inch seams. Alright, And then we'll stitch this side up as well. And I put my pins in this manner so they're easier to pull out as I'm running it through the machine. Because if you pin this way, it's more difficult to get them out, and you stand a chance of sticking yourself as you're pushing fabric through. So that's why I do mine from the side. All right, I'm just going to get this stuff all pinned together, and that way I can run it through the machine one piece after another, and that saves on thread. I don't know why I'm not meeting very well here on the corner. Let's try to get that to meet up better. All right, that's good. All right, and then I'm going to pin the purple in the same way, right sides together. At least I think that's the right side. Yeah, it looks like it. Match up these corners down here at the corner of the bag. You can hear the birds singing outside the window. I was going to tell y'all the other day I looked out to see which of the two gray and white kitties are out there, and there was an orange and white kitty out there, so I don't know. And I'm not feeding at night anymore because I think that's attracting raccoons and skunks and foxes and things. So the kitty cats only get food in the mornings now. I'm hoping Scott will be willing to put some food out while I'm down at the other house for a week at the end of the month. I wonder how that's going to work. I gotta think on that because my challenge ends on July 4th. I guess Scott could bring the mail to me, and I'll just take all of the stuff for the challenge down there, and then when he comes down that weekend following the 4th of July, because he gets that next week off from work. They're doing a plant shutdown, so he'll be off. But yeah, could do that, and then I could do the drawing from the other house, but I won't be able to mail the stuff off until we get back up here. Ow! Unless I take it all. I guess I could take it all down there. All right, let me dig my machine out and we'll get to sewing. All right, everybody, I'm just gonna check my machine before I start sewing on my project, and I've got the scraps that we cut out of the corners. So I'm just going to fold this up here, and I'm just going to stitch and see what my stitches look like right now. Alright, we're having issues. I don't know what. Let's get that under the foot. Maybe that's... Oh, don't tell me my machine is messed up. That would suck. Why is the bobbin thing on? That's what's the problem. There we go. Figured it out. Alright, and what I'm looking for is a nice even stitching, which this looks real good. I'm not seeing any of the top stitches on the bottom. I'm not seeing any of the bottom stitches on the top. So we're good to go. I must have bumped the bobbin lock when I was pulling the machine out. And there doesn't look like there's very much bobbin thread in there. Now, 1/4 inch on this foot is just the side of the presser foot. So I'm going to stitch up on here, and then to lock my stitches I'll take a few stitches back, and then we'll just sew along. had gray sewing machine sewing thread in this, so that's what I'm using. I'll just take a couple stitches back just to lock it, because when I turn it right side out, that's going to cause it to pull some. Okay, so we'll just stitch along, and I'll speed through the rest of this. That is, if I could figure out how to do it. You can see the old needle holes from when it was a placemat, and I'm actually sewing just about right in them, so they're not going to be visible anyway. And the reason I just sew from one piece to the next and I try to have a whole bunch ready to sew is so that I'm saving on thread. I don't have to pull and clip and pull and clip and then have all those long tails and all that wasted thread. It saves thread to do it this way. Locking stitch. Alright, then I've got my bag body here. The camera's kind of in the way. Now this is going to be a little thicker because I'm going through a lot more layers. I'm just going to lift this up a little bit. Lift it up, pull it back just a little so I can get my fabric under there. I'm going to pull that first pin out and then go slow because you're going through layers. And you don't want to push or pull on it because that warps your fabric. You want to let the machine grab it. That's what those feed dogs are for that you see on the bottom of your machine. They're going, come on, come on, and they're pulling it through. It's like little arms coming up to grab your fabric and pull it through. You don't have to push and pull and all of that. The machine does it. If the machine's not doing it, your settings are incorrect. I'm just letting it grab it and pull it. Now I know I've got the other side of this piece that also needs to be sewn, but I'm going to take the lining piece and go ahead and put it through first so that I'm not wasting thread. Go ahead and do a lock stitch on the top of this one too, because you don't want it to come unsewn. All right. So when I get to the end of this one and I've done my lock, a couple stitches back, a couple stitches forward, I'm going to reach back here to the back side and cut some of this stuff off that I've already sewn. Like there's the handles cut free, and I cut the other side of the bag free, so I can bring it down here now and I can get in here with this and we'll sew this other edge down. And because we're dealing with that thickness again, I'm gonna just lift that up. I gotta get this pin out the way. Line up the edge of the presser foot with the edge of the fabric here and do a couple locking stitches back. Alright, and we'll sew this seam down through. I'm going to reach back and I'm going to get that lining piece and clip it free of the bag piece like that. See, I'm not taking that other piece out because I want to save on my thread. Then we'll bring this piece back in, line it up. Alright, let's get this pin out of there. I'm hoping I have not just run out of bobbin thread. if you can hold it so that it doesn't get out of the hand, you can pull some extra of the pins out. Like I went ahead and I pulled the remainder of the pins out. Now, if I go back to that first handle I sewed after my little piece, I just keep these little pieces like this. And then all I got to do is sew across it, and the thread is captured in that. I just snip my lining away and leave that in the machine, and that's where I start when I come back to sewing. Alright. Okay. I'm going to bring you over here a little bit. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach inside these pieces that have the square in the bottom, pull that here and here. You want to get it laying flat. Now you can, on the seam that you just put in, you can go ahead and open it like so it's flat like that. That's not open. Come on, Becky, get it open. There, that's open. I don't know if you can see or not, but it's laid open. And you want it to be as flat as you can get it across here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a pin in each side of that seam we just did so that it stays flat. And then I'm going to put one on like that. And what this will do is this will give you your boxy bottom. Alright? And then you're going to stitch your 1/4 inch seam across. I might do it from this side. Let's push you back over here. Alright. Didn't get it. I got to do just a little adjusting because I didn't get it quite on. Well, that's going to have to be as good as it gets. It's not. Just pinning it back real quick here. This might be a little bit more than a 1/4 inch seam here because I got to take into account how I cut that out. For some reason it's just not wanting to line up. It's irritating me. Right, let's see if we can get it caught in there. I'm just lifting the foot enough to get my fabric to the starting point. Lock it in as always. And then I'm going to come straight across. And I use the pin to kind of hold that down so it doesn't roll back up. And I never sew when I've got my finger near that needle because that hurts like nobody's business. Tell right now that's not behaving right. Let me grab my little piece off the back here to sew into. I just want to quickly show you what the square is gonna, where I had it. Okay, come back over here. And so you've got like this here. So when you turn it right side out, if I had my ironing board and all here, I would have pressed this seam all the way up, but I'll finger press it like that. So that would lay flat like that. And then when you turn this right side out, which actually this one will be down inside, but this is what your squared bottom will look like. Okay? So the other side's not done yet, so it won't be square totally across, because see, I still have a hole here. But I'll get it. That's where your bag will set like that. And that's why you do the little squares in the bottom like that. Okay? So I'm going to go finish the rest of my little squares, turn the handles right side out, and watch some more of Outlander, and I'll be back in a little bit. Hey guys, I'm back. I had to wind a fresh bobbin, and somebody had asked in a video quite a while ago how I thread this machine, okay? Down here in the bobbin case, it's got a little arrow in the direction they want you to go. Right here, you can see the little arrow in the metal. There's a little clip right inside here. You take your bobbin so the thread is feeding off to the left, drop it down in, and then you're going to catch your thread. There's like a little slot right there. I'm going to bring my thread, go ahead and let it fall back, through that, and come this way like so. Just leave that setting like that. Okay, now I'm going to shift you up a little bit, pull you back here, shift you up, maybe back you out a little, or maybe you are backed out as far as you'll go. I shortened this so that I could get y'all down. Okay, now I've got some weird lighting going on. Alright, so here's the thread, and it's coming off the spool back there. See? Now, I don't know if you can see it, but there's arrows down on the top of this machine. And all you have to do is slide this under that, there. So it goes around and under this little tab right here. Comes down the front of the machine. Okay, now I gotta drop you down here. Alright, and there's like a little green piece of plastic here to show you. Go down, you're going good. And then right here on the front it says go down, then to the left, and then down. So you come down to below the little green thing, up under there, and across, and you just follow the slot in the machine, okay? Then you're going to come back. We want to push our needle so it's in the up position. And there is get you back down here. Alright. Right here, they've even indicated it with a little green triangle pointing down right there. There's a little looper right here. You pull your thread back after you've gone around that and put it through there, okay? Then you have to come across to this first little thing and lay your thread up there. You come around and down and below, there's like a little tab that comes this way. You grab it under there, and then you just slide it back through here till it catches under the green. There's a little green piece in between there. You catch your thread under there, then you just push this button and it pushes it through the needle. So there's a loop at the back of the needle, and I just push it over to my right hand and pull my thread through, and it's through the needle now. There we go. Now you put that under through the foot. There's a little slot here at the front of the foot. Slide your thread toward the back. Then you take your wheel on the other side of the machine here, this wheel here, and turn it slowly toward you, okay? And when you do that, what will happen is the needle goes down into the shuttle casing down here, and you'll see it come across. You see it right there, and it's grabbing the other, and just keep pulling it around. It's because I went so slow. All right, let me there we go. Let's see if I can get it up through. Okay, just pull your upper thread. Might have to get hold to both of them. There's the loop. And now both of the threads are in there. Okay? See, both the lower and the upper thread. Okay? Then you just push this closed. There's a cutter on the side of the machine over here. Whoops. And I just bring this up and I cut my ends off. Leave some tails. You don't want to cut it all away. And now it's ready to go. All right. Now I'm going to put you back down here. I don't know how much longer we'll be able to film stuff because I am running out of battery. So I've already top stitched this one. And you can see the stitching on either sides of this. And the back I've still used the gray thread in the bobbin until it ran out. But you see how I put the seam in the middle of the back of the band? This will be where your hand grips. This will be what everybody sees. So when you grip it, it'll be like that. Okay? And that's one of the handles. Okay? I'm going to show you how I did that now. Oops. I actually sewed from the front so I could make sure it was nice and straight. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling the pin heads out just a little bit so that I can grab them from the front as I'm going down through. Alright, so just put it in here. Now this time I'm not coming all the way to the edge. I'm going to where the plastic centerpiece meets the silver edge, so it's like 1/8 of an inch. We're just top stitching. And you can lock your stitches in. Oh, you see that? It came unthreaded because I didn't leave it long enough. You just pull a little bit of thread out, catch it through there, under there, across there, push your button, and pull the thread back through. It's not necessary really to lock it in on the, because you're not going to be handling this part of it. It'll be down inside between the bag and the lining. Just pull your pins out as you go. I really wish I had my iron and ironing board up here. Might bring it back when we come back up, because I really need it to do this sewing I want to do. Alright, now I'm going to do it on the other edge. Alright, oh, you know what, I need to put my little piece in there to save my thread, or I'll be using long tails, long tails, long tails. Okay, so that's both handles. Now, I'm going to back you out just a little bit here. Pull you around here. Is that backing it out? No, that's going in. I think we're as far back as we can get. Okay, now I'm going to decide where I want the handles on the bag, okay? So I loop it as it's going to be in my hand, like that's the top of the bag, okay? Like that. All right, then I'm going to get the bag over here. I'm going to turn it right side out so I'm looking at it right. Alright, let's see here. Okay. So I got my bag. You can see a little squared bottom and everything. And so you want to put the right side of the band, the part that you want to show, not the part where the seam splits. You want to put it right sides to the bag. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this handy dandy ruler and I'm going to pin from the center seam over to the edge at 3 inches and just give it a look and see what if I like that positioning. And then I'll come from the other side, the same thing. Measure over 3 inches from your side seam, which will put this edge at this, right there. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. I'm not going to do the pinning of the other one. I'm just going to stitch this one on. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch back and forth over this about 3 or 4 times. I'm going to take the sleeve guard thing off from here so I can slide my bag over there. I'm just going to pull those pins out and hold it with my hand until I can lock the presser foot back down. And then I'm just going to sew all the way across and back all the way. Back, all the way. And it goes slower when you're going backwards, okay? And I'm going to do that one more time across and one more time back, because I do not want this handle to come off, and it will be sewn one more time when I sew the lining in. Okay? So now I'm just going to pull that off from there. Clip these free. Whoops. Not too worried about the tails right now because this part's just, it takes this here. And I did that just like I did the finishing on the edges of the handle. So I'm not on the edge of the presser foot. I'm between the plastic middle part and the metal edge. I came over just a little bit farther on this one side because I should have trimmed this even. Okay, good enough. So it's on there. Snip those away if I don't stab myself. Okay, now I'm just going to go and repeat it so that the handles are on it like that. Okay, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm putting, excuse me, I've got basically right sides together here, okay? I hope I'm doing this right. It's been a long time since I did a bag. And what I'm going to do is I've stuck the outside of the bag with the right side out, down in, and then I've got the outside of the bag of the lining to the outside here. And what I'm going to do is finish pinning this around. But when I go to sew it, why does that feel weird? That's why. I want to make sure those straps are smooth. My hands aren't wanting to work. I will leave a section of this open. And when I do, I'm going to do it between the handles, and I'm going to do it right here. And what I do is I put 2 pins right next to each other to remind me to stop sewing there. And I'll do the same on this side over here. So I'll start sewing by one handle on one side here. And I'll just sew all the way around over the other two handles. Just leave that one open right here. And that's where I'll turn it right side out. And then when I do my top stitching, I'll catch that hole and close it up. And the bag will be done. Tell you what, I'm glad I'm not 29 going on 30. My son's got so much drama in his life. He's every girl's best friend, but none of them want to date him. They just want him as a friend. And he likes a couple of them really quite a lot, but I don't know what they want the bad boys. I don't know what to tell him. Just be patient and the right one will come along. That's what I keep saying. The one that's perfect for him will show up on his door or walk into his life one day and everything will be fine. Alright. I could put my walking foot on here so this would feed a little bit smoother, and it's going to be hard to get over these sides where they're so thick here, but we'll see what we can do. Alright, I'm going to start over here by this handle here and go around. So I'm just going to push you all over here. And this time I'm going to go down. I want to make sure those straps are laying flat. I'm actually going to put a 1/2 inch seam along the top, just so these handles are caught really well. And for that there's a little mark over here on this other side. Press her foot down. Gotta come this way a little bit because I gotta leave that opening. Take a few stitches. I'm dealing with 2 different weights of fabric too. I'm going to stop with needle in. Okay, now I got to reach inside and flatten that seam out, the big fat one. And we're going to take it easy up over the top here. So that's asking it a lot of it to go through all of that thickness, but it's doing it. Slowly, slowly. Alright. We're going to go back around here. And I think I'm going to take a few extra stitches on the handles. Should have probably done that on that first one, but it'll be alright. And I'm caught on a pin. I can feel it. There we go. Alright, coming up on the other side seam. And I hope this is going to lay all right. Trying to get that seam to lay flat in there again. Whoop, 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 whoop. Pin in. Needle down. Alright, I got to go over this fat seam again, and I got it open. So I'm going to come over it real slow. Sorry guys, didn't realize the bag had come out in front of you. Okay. I'm coming up to my other double pins, which means I've been all the way around the top of the bag, except for where I want to leave it open. And I'm going to back up on this one. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go off camera and go around again to just make sure I have a perfect 1/2 inch all the way around, and then I'll come back and we'll turn it right side out together, okay? Alright guys, I'm going to turn it right side out and hope I got it right the first time. It's going to be a tight fit. You can go ahead and pull the handles out. And hopefully I've done it right. If not, we'll soon find out. And it's going to look weird when I first get it to the right side. Let's see here. Alright, if I can get all the canvas to the outside, then it'll come easier. Okay, almost there. Alright, and I did it right. And now you're not going to worry about turning the fabric the other way. And see, if I had my ironing board, I'd get this on the ironing board and really press it good down inside and everything. So I don't have the ironing board here, so what I'm going to have to do is kind of hand press it real good, meet these edges up like that, and pin it real good all the way around, and then I'll do some top stitching around the top of the bag, and it will be done. It's just a little bag that I can drop my wallet in and some things like that. It's not a very secure bag, but you know, I would still use it. Keep my bag right next to me all the time anyway. Alright, so I'm going to finish off the top, and that will be this bag. And I'll share it with you when I get that done. Alright? Okay, we're all finished. Here's the little bag that I made. And it'll sit up. Let me move this machine back a little bit. And it sits up by itself. I may add a button or a snap here in the middle, but other than that, that's a little tote bag out of a placemat. And I will make the other little bag later, because I don't have a zipper the right size. I gotta pick up a zipper. So let me know what y'all think, and if you enjoyed watching this video, and I will see what other projects I can come up with. I just love making bags out of placemats. It's like you get this really unique bag that nobody else will have, but you might go to someone's house and see these placemats on their table. Alright guys, I'll let you go. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, please. Bye.